You so black. You so black. When you smile, the stars come out. You so black. When you born, the God come out. Black is not. Black when it's wrong and black when it's right. Black is pyramids and mathematics. Black is melanized in magic. Black is televised and in need of drastic black advancement. Black enhances, black with chances, black with privilege, black with pride, black on purpose on the black hand side, black and beautiful, black and blessed and highly favored, praise the Lord, black and blessed, black and so much more, black and nothing less, black and educated, black is brilliant. Black is strong, black is resilient, black is song, black is infinite, like hip-hop or space. Black is grace, black is love, black makes babies, black babies grow up, black is tough, black is hard to do. Black is me, black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that lift every voice and sing.
We don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. There's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
You know, for a number of times, the system have tried to destroy the love that black people have. That even ourselves, we cannot love ourselves, okay? They tried to break our confidence, you know, and make us feel like we are very low, make us feel wealthy. Not wealthy, make us feel filthy, you know? Like they planted something in us that we did not have self-confidence and self-love, or even loving one another, you know? It was a very a win for a black man or a black woman to find him or herself with a white counterpart. Now, that has been happening. But right now, before their eyes, God is rebuilding everything they swore that will never rise again. God is restoring the love between black people. The same people who profited from our pain, the same people who profited watching us going down, you know. What they are doing right now are watching a miracle they cannot stop, okay?
There's nothing standing in your way but you. I'm going to say it again. There is nothing standing in your way but you. If you will get your foot out of your way, there is no power in the heavens above or in the earth below that can stop you from achieving what God has come to give you.
Now, family, Wagwan, welcome back to my YouTube commentary. Now, whether you're turning it in from Nairobi, Kenya, or Kenya, Nairobi, from Ghana, from Kingston, from Detroit, I appreciate you here. Much love and divine strength, every one of you who's watching this video today. Now, because what I'm going to talk is not about political, it's not financial, but it is spiritual. It is love. Because the world is witnessing the rebirth of black love and the return of black confidence. And the ones who thought that they had ended both are trembling in disbelief, okay? Are trembling in disbelief. Because for centuries, they told us that we were too broken to heal. Centuries, they said that slavery destroyed us forever. That colonization destroyed African forever. Slavery destroyed the black Americans forever. It destroyed Afro-Caribbean forever. They have been building systems, or they build systems on our division, on our pain, okay? They made sure black person hate another black person. Black man hate a black woman. A black woman doubting her worth, and made black children to grow up searching for love in wrong places, but something is happening, and then no institution can explain. God himself is restoring us. And this generation that we are in, my generation, it's very different, very different. We are not begging for acceptance. We are remembering that we are the chosen ones. Before I continue, let's watch these videos and then I'll come back with the more commentary.
I'm a black woman. I come from a black woman who came from a black woman who came from a black woman, and I'm going to give birth to a black woman. We're impeccable. We are impeccable. We're special, and the world is going to have to deal with that.
You ever notice how early black kids start shrinking? It's not insecurity, it's training. This country has spent centuries teaching us not to take up space, not to believe in ourselves, not to recognize our own brilliance. And we can see what stolen confidence looks like, right? It's the little boy in class who stops raising his hand because somebody laughed at the way that he speaks. It's the little girl already hating her hair by the time she's 6 years old. It's the teenager who dreams small because every adult around them tells them to be realistic. And then you grow up carrying that. Grown men who don't apply for jobs that they deserve. Women who over-apologize before they even speak. Whole communities convinced that survival is the ceiling because confidence was snatched out of us before we even got a chance to practice it. And don't let anybody tell you that's by accident. This country has always tried to break our confidence first. Enslaved people were whipped for learning how to read because reading builds confidence. Jim Crow wasn't just about laws. It was about forcing you to look down, to step off the sidewalk, to call a white boy sir. That's about shrinking. So if we fast forward, schools erase our history. So you never know the giants you come from. Workplaces call you aggressive for being assertive, but leadership material when a white man does the same thing. Police pull you over, guns drawn, just to remind you who's supposed to feel small here. Confidence has always been dangerous to them because confidence makes you unstoppable. But here's the flip side, because when you know who you are, everything changes. A kid who grows up hearing the real stories, that Harriet Tubman outsmarted an entire system, that George Jackson turned a prison cell into a classroom, that black women built movements with no recognition. They walk different. They stop asking for permission. They stop trying to fit in boxes that were never meant for us. They know their worth. And once you know your worth, nobody can unteach that. Nobody. So let me be clear. A black child without confidence, this world will eat them alive. A black child with confidence, that's a revolution walking. And that's why I'm going to keep saying it until I have no more breath in my body. Never let anyone tell you who you are. Ever. Because the minute you start believing their lies, they've already won. So the real question isn't whether our kids can be confident. The real question is, are we doing enough to make sure that they know exactly who the hell they are?
Soul Sisters, why is being black something we feel like we have to diminish? I'm Dr. Cook of Soul Direct Primary Care, and we're the sacred space of Black women's health and wellness. And today I just did a health fair, and it was wonderful. You know, we talked about all these different business vendors, and I was speaking, and the moderator was like, I want to introduce you. So I want to say, do you take care of women of color? And I was like, my mission is quite clear. We are the sacred space for Black women's health and wellness. And granted, as a Black woman, yes, I'm part of women of color, but I feel like it was a way to soften the Blackness. Like, being Black is okay, and I'm very proud of that. And I feel like so often we are pushed into diminishing our Black status, not leading with that, not being okay with embracing it. And I was like, no, sister, we are focused on Black women. Now, do I discriminate? Absolutely not. I've got Asian women, white women, even white men who belong to my practice, but they know what it is. They know what we stand for, and that's okay. So it just reminds me every day that I have to fiercely protect a space for Black women, because even in our own communities, we're so quick to diminish it.
The best gift my parents ever gave me was home education on Black history, not leaving it up to the school system, and cultivating a deep love of being Black. My parents always told me black was beautiful. The confidence that I have in my blackness, the love that I have in my blackness, the faith and love that I have in my people is directly attributed to my parents. And I remember when I was a high school teacher, and the first school that I went to teach at was in Pasadena, Maryland. And I drove up to that school for an interview with my locks down past my shoulders. And I saw nothing but pickup trucks with Confederate flags. And I interviewed with a black assistant principal, and she said, I know what you're seeing. I know what it looks like, but our black students need you here. They need that representation. And I'm not gonna lie, I was desperate for a job at the time. I was in my mid-20s. I needed a teaching gig. My first week there, a young man wrote on one of his English notebooks, "The South will rise again." And I remember teaching To Kill a Mockingbird, and we talked about Jim Crow, and there were so many students in my class that did not know anything about Jim Crow. Black students, which broke my heart. I was like, what the hell are they teaching y'all here? What are your parents teaching you? Didn't know anything about Jim Crow. But I didn't realize what my parents were doing when they took me to any black exhibit at the Smithsonian. When my mother bought me, the autobiographies of Maya Angelou and had me read Kaffir Boy and Roots. When they told me the stories of the discrimination they had to overcome growing up. We need to get back to that. If you are a black parent, we need to get back to that, because why do you think they're trying to block critical race theory from these schools? They don't want us to have the confidence. They don't want us to have the knowledge. They don't want us to have the awareness. I remember in middle school, I was in a magnet program for highly gifted students. And somehow we were talking about, the civil rights. And I brought up the Black Panthers because my parents taught me about that. My mother said the Black Panthers made sure that she was fed when she was a kid. I remember white students saying, oh, they're racist. They were dangerous. I said, no, they weren't. Schooled everybody. We have to plant the seeds in our children, because look at the direction that this country is going. And to be black in this country is to fight every day the messaging telling you that you're not good enough, to keep us oppressed. And if there's one thing that I'm confident about in this world is my blackness. So I have to thank my mom and dad. Thank you for instilling that in me.
It has been for me, sister.
Yeah.
Very difficult for me to try to teach salvation to a group of black women who hate the hair on top of their own head and who thinks that their beauty, their self-esteem is so low. We believe that our beauty requires us to glue somebody else's hair on our head or sew it on our head.
Mm-hmm.
And to pick up an image that has been represented to us as beautiful. And even though we don't ever like to admit it, the only image we've ever had of beauty was the white woman. And it's even worse for our little daughters and granddaughters, because we're giving them that same false value that the only way that a black woman can be beautiful is if she takes things from other people. And we're the most beautiful woman on the earth.
Before he can put new wine in an old vessel, the old vessel got to be made right. I'm an example now of a vessel that is being renewed, restored right in front of your eyes. I will not get older. I will get younger. No, I don't need no applause. I just want people to think. God wants you to look at me, because he's going to do something with me that even though you're looking at it, you won't believe it. He wants you to listen to me, because he's going to give me something to tell you that you should hear. It's time now. That's the point. And when it's time for something, nothing can hold it back. Regardless to how it comes, if it's time for you to know something, God will put it where it belongs, but you gotta wrestle with it. Like I was fighting and struggling with that weight, but I finally got it up. That's the way it is with knowledge. When you come into knowledge that is beyond you, you wrestle with it, and it looks like it's gonna throw you, but then you gotta call on God. And when you call on God, He is always there when His servants call, and before you know it, you'll have the power to lift any weight. And that's the same way it is with burdens. Your burdens are light, and that's why Jesus said, all ye that are heavy laden, come unto me. And if you come unto me, I will give you rest. On Monday night, I said to the public, to the Christian people, yes, we know that Jesus saves. But brothers and sisters, black people need a living Jesus. We need one now that can save us from this wretched condition. And I'm humbly telling you, I have met that Jesus.
Girl, we have got to start working to see ourselves as God sees us. What I've come to learn is that a lot of the ideas that we have about who we are actually come from our toxic and traumatic experiences of the past. At the end of the day, our God says that we are made in His image, that we are His creations, that we are beautiful on the inside out, that we are gifts, that we are treasured, that we are a prize. And that's exactly how He wants us to start seeing ourselves.
Now, welcome back. You see, I said they're confused. And what is confusing the system, what is confusing the white folks today is not that we are angry, it's that we are healing, okay? All the wounds, we are healing. Because anger, they can handle that. They can counter-attack anger. But they cannot counter healing. They cannot counter self-love. Everywhere you look right now, there's a new vibration rising in a black world. Brother greeting each other with love instead of competition, because we were just competing against each other. We are seeing what's happening between the fight, the Cold War we have between black Americans and Africans. But it's ending because we are awakening, okay? And the more it happens, the more the old system shakes, because a people who love themselves cannot be manipulated. A man who knows his worth can't be enslaved. A woman who knows she's divine cannot be objectified, cannot be an object, because you know your worth, okay? And a nation built on love can't be destroyed. So, as I go deep into this message, remember this one truth, that black love is not just romance, but black love, it is a resistance. Black confidence is a remembrance, it's not an arrogance. And what we are witnessing right now today is a social trend. It's a spiritual correction, not a social trend. It's not a social trend, it's a spiritual connection. Now, let me say this. We have an awakening that no one imagined. Even black people, we never imagined maybe to see this awakening like this early, because nobody saw it coming. They never saw it coming. We never saw it coming. But our ancestors knew a day like this will come, because the same people who wrote textbooks that erased our history, the same people who wrote textbooks that erase us, are now scrolling through timeline full of melanin, are now listening to music full of melanin, and now, man, you know, what they did is bad. They built their power on our pain. And now that power is cracking beneath the weight of our awakening. Okay? They studied us for generations like we are an experiment, predicting that if they kept us divided, we will never find any rhythm again. And that was reality. Once you stay divided, there's no love between you, then you are falling every day. And you are weakening yourself, and they are getting their chance into you. Okay? But here we are today, harmonizing across ocean, black families rediscovering traditions, African youths walking tall in ancestral names, black Americans reclaiming their history, Caribbeans are reconnecting with the continent, and that is not coincidence, that's prophecy unfolding itself. The awakening is not loud in the way revolution used to be, but it is quiet, silent, and yet unstoppable, okay? A spiritual current moving through hearts, conversation, and communities. It is the kind of shift that system can't even legislate against, because it is happening in the unseen realm first. Spiritual war, you can't fight that with physical guns. You know that? So white society, They spent centuries investing in illusions that whiteness equals purity, that European culture equals progress, that blackness equals shame and curse. But those illusions are burning out under the light of truth. You get that? Everywhere you look, the lie is losing its power. Black children now see dolls that look like them. And they're like, hey, back then when you see a black doll, you are like, come on, what's this? It's like satanic, Even just your black parents comes in the house and sees a black doll and you'll be like, this is satanic. But right now, you are seeing black children are embracing the black dolls, embracing heroes who sound like them, creators who speak for them. Black couples right now are rejecting toxic stereotypes and building homes rooted in healing instead of trauma. Black communities are beginning to circulate wealth among themselves again, and money is flowing love, not validation. Man is following love. Man is not following validation at all. And this is what confuses white observers most. They thought our unity depended on their permission. Our love needed their approval, but what is rising right now was born in the fire for centuries, refined, purified, and divinely timed. I want you to understand this. You can suppress a people, you can suppress a person, but you can't suppress a prophecy. The same spirit that built the pyramid, same spirit that composed the drums, the same pyramid that carried our ancestors through chains is now whispering in every black soul. It's whispering in me, it's whispering in you, and your time has come as a black person. And you need to understand that, because we are answering that call in our own ways, in our own terms. We are answering the call through art, we are answering through entrepreneurship, through education, through faith, and through self-respect. And that's why corporate media can't explain it. They see the numbers, they see the rise of natural hair in the streets, they see ladies are walking majestically, loving themselves, walking like a queen, embracing the blackness. I know you have come across the videos of ladies walking in the street, showcasing their talent, not even talent, the beauty, the black beauty and natural hair, and everyone is breaking their neck like, wow, this is beautiful, because we embrace and we love ourselves. Black women are now loving themselves, and they are seeing you don't need to bleach, that black is the color. You don't need to wear wigs and weaves. The natural hair is the best, and it is sending some shockwave to some systems. This awakening is also psychological warfare ending, because they use media to tell us that we were violent, they use media to tell us that we are lazy, they use media to tell us that we are inferior, that we are dangerous. But now we are telling our own stories, we are writing our own stories. They use religion to make us feel inferior, but we right now we interpret the divine through African eyes. They used education to erase our genius, but right now we teach our children about Imhotep. We teach our children about Malcolm X. We teach our children about Wangari Maathai. We teach our children about Kwame Nkrumah. We teach our children about Thomas Sankara. So when you hear them say that why are black people so proud lately, just remember, this pride is what happens when healing meets history. Okay? And that is the fear. A healed black mind can't be controlled. And that is why they panic. That's why they see black love trending, because black love is not entertainment. Black love is an evidence that the curse is breaking. A black couple is unity, or a black couple in unity represent the balance of the universe. It is divine, okay? The divine masculine and the divine feminine working as one. And that energy restores creation. And creation answers to God, not to systems. Make no mistake here. This awakening isn't the end of their world. It is the end of their dominance, and they can keep their wealth, they can keep their wealth, they can keep their armies, they can keep their propaganda. But you know what? Once love and confidence return to black hearts, control evaporates. So my kings and queens, all of you are watching this. I'll say this. What you are feeling right now is not a confusion. It is a remembrance. No? That pull you feel to reconnect, that urge that is pushing you to reconnect with the motherland, or to build, or to protect, or even that pull that you feel just talking to me in the inbox, emailing me, or sending super thanks, or commenting, or sharing this video, it's enough. That is the ancestors whispering through time. It's the creator realigning destiny, because there's a time where black Americans could not just sit and talk to Africans. There's a time Africans we even didn't know about black Americans. Like for me, Because they never taught us in school. There's a time as a black American, you are seeing African and you are seeing this is someone living in a wilderness, There's a time maybe African were seeing black Americans and were like, these are lazy people. But right now, there's a pull that is forcing us to connect and talk to each other. And that is our ancestors whispering. And it's reality why white society is confused, because everything they taught about us is collapsing. They can't categorize us anymore. We are not victims. We are visionaries, okay? We are not the past right now. We are prophecy. We are prophecy. And this awakening isn't something that we ask for. No. It is something we became. And as long as love keeps spreading through our community, then there is no algorithm strong enough to end that. No. Everything that is going on, we have that what we call historical plan to end everything or to destroy black love. It is there. And we have evidence that there is historical plan that was there to destroy black love, because they didn't just stumble into breaking us apart. No, they planned it. Every empire that fed on African labor understood one thing, that you can change the body, but if the mind still remembers love, then spirit will escape. So what did they do? They made war on love itself. During slavery, they wrote rules that punished affection between enslaved Africans. They sanctioned mothers in front of the sons. They whipped fathers before daughters. They wanted every black heart to associate love with loss, to associate family with fear. When they saw us create families in secret, they passed laws forbidding marriage between the enslaved. When they saw a mother teaching her child heritage, they call it rebellion. When they saw a man protecting his wife, they call it defiance. They even didn't want us to be taught our history in schools, just to destroy that love with our culture. Because love builds strength, and strength builds escape. After all those teaching, then came colonization. A different costume, but same agenda. Missionaries arrived with Bibles, edited for control, telling Africans that submission was holiness, that heaven was white, and that our ancestors were devils, and they replaced love for self with love for empires. They weaponized education to shame our language and erase our culture and our gods. So wherever they found unity, they planted jealousy. That's why you see even these countries that are, like Congo and these Western countries with a lot of minerals, they are fighting among themselves. They planted hatred between people of Rwanda, and they fought and fought and fought. Wherever they found trust, they sowed fear. So the colonizers' most powerful weapon wasn't a gun. It was division disguised as civilization. They split us in tribes. They planted jealousy, and everything. They split us by skin tone. They split us by gender. They taught the African man that leadership meant dominance, not protection. And they told the African woman that submission meant silence, not partnership. They told the African woman that submission meant silence, And when independence came, those lies remained. And that's why we fight for black love today, and also to fight against countries of psychological warfare, because they didn't just only chain our ancestors, no, but they conditioned their descendants, Now, leave that history. Fast forward up to right now, for example, in 20th century, the new era. We have the same manipulation. Television arrived, and suddenly black men were portrayed as absent, as violent, as irresponsible. Black women were portrayed as angry, as, unworthy of respect. It was not accident, but it was by design. It was designed to be like that. Okay, the goal was to rewrite our identity through imagery until we internalized it. So then came economics. They built a welfare system that rewarded broken homes. They underfunded schools in black neighborhoods. They flooded our communities with drugs, and then built prisons to catch the fallout. They call it law and order, but you know what? It was not law and order. It was really love and confidence under siege. And while the world clapped for progress, we buried generations of trauma. Our mothers became soldiers and fathers became ghosts. Our children inherited that. The silence, okay? Yet even though that darkness, the light refused to die, but every church song that spoke of deliverance, every freedom march that shouted that we shall overcome, every poem, every drum beat, that was love surviving. It was love surviving genocide, because you can't erase what God created. They could twist our story, yes, but they couldn't delete the author. And what terrifies them today is that the descendants of those survivors are now decoding the blueprint. Us, you, me, We have read the hidden chapters and discovered the plot, and we now understand the attack on black love was never personal, but it was strategic. They knew that once a black man and black woman stand side by side again, their system collapses. Why? Because our union as black people reflects divine order, masculine energy that protects and builds, feminine energy that nurtures and uplifts together as man, a black man and black woman, we mirror creation itself. And that's why slavery tried to separate black man and black woman, tried to separate us. Colonization tried to confuse us, and capitalism tries to commodify us, When you look at the modern advertising, it sells insecurity. It tells that black woman, she needs lighter skin, straighter hair, and dominance to prove what? They profit from the wound they created, but the miracle is the wound is closing, and you can't keep a lie forever. You can't. The internet they build for destruction has become the classroom of awakening, and our people right now are learning, our people are connecting, our people are loving without permission. When you see a young couple choosing natural wedding in African attire, you are seeing rebellion. When you see a brother learning his ancestral tongue, you see a restoration. When you see a sister rejecting bleaching creams and embracing her melanin, you are seeing prophecy fulfilled. So it's obvious to say the enemy entire system was based on us forgetting, but memory is spiritual. It returns when the season is right. And this is that season. White society is panicking because history pendulum is swinging back to the truth, and they know that every time love returns to its rightful owners, powers follows. And the same way they orchestrated our separation, God is orchestrating our nation, and no agenda, no political, no economics or social can override divine timing. So yes, they had a plan to destroy black love, but the master architect has a greater plan to resurrect it. And that plan is unfolding right now in you, in me, and in every black heart choosing healing overhead. That's all I have today. Until next episode, peace out.